isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will.
Welcome to Perspective, a podcast for wedding creators, where we sit down, often with a special guest, and talk about our many years of experience in the wedding industry so you can learn from us and grow your wedding business. Hello, I'm Simon.
And I'm Greg.
Together, we are Cinemate Films, two Scottish-based wedding filmmakers who love nothing more than drinking whatever we're drinking and talking shop with others in the wedding industry. And we've teamed up with The Weird Retreat to bring you a series of special episodes in anticipation of the gathering, which is happening on the 23rd to the 26th of March, 2026 in the Peak District. This episode is sponsored by people. Greg, who's this episode sponsored by today?
This is sponsored by With Jack, our usual long-lasting sponsor.
With Jack and Pick Time. However, I'll get onto that a little bit later in the show. Greg, who are we talking to today?
We are talking to a repeat guest and lovely guy, Ed Godden. Hello, Ed.
Hello, Ed. How you doing, boys? You all right?
Good,
yeah,
thanks.
we're doing good.
Repeat offender.
Repeat offender, indeed. No, it's good to have you back on.
Yes.
I will say to our audio listeners, so Greg and I, my wife is back being a student in university, and so there's going to be less time in the co-working space. And so what you're seeing, if you are indeed seeing, or what you will be hearing, is probably more of a delay between three sources and cameras and audios because we're going over the web. So just to bear in mind, that's what you're hearing. I'm not ignoring Ed. It's just, that's what it is. Okay. Anyway, Ed, nice to have you back on. For people who didn't see the last episode with you on it, which was 2 years ago, as you reminded me, which is crazy. Do you want to introduce yourself? And we'll chat.
Yeah, sure. I'm Ed, wedding photographer based in Nottinghamshire in the Midlands. I'm originally from down south in Berkshire, but moved up here about 14 years ago. I only shoot weddings nowadays. I occasionally do family shoots, but I started off my career 30 years ago as a press and sports photographer. And after just over a decade in that industry, I moved over to shooting weddings just on the side to begin with. And then I kind of got hooked and noticed that the money was a lot better in weddings than it was in press and sports photography. And the way that I was shooting weddings had changed a lot and was less traditional. So I really enjoyed shooting weddings in the way that I did. And it just took off, and I had no intention of only shooting weddings, but it's just the way that it's worked out. And even at weddings now, I still get people coming up and say, "So this is all you do? You just shoot weddings, and that's enough, is it?" And I'm like, "It's more than enough, thanks." Yeah,
yeah, it's like the famous, what do you actually do for your main job? Bastards.
Yeah,
that's a job.
What's your main doing? This just looks like a piece of piss. What are you doing? Is this just a bit of fun? And I'm like, no, this is my job. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm very fortunate. I'm very grateful that this is my job, and even after all these years, I still think it's the best job in the world.
Mm-hmm. Now, Greg, I'm going to give you a little task. Can you point people to the episode number where Ed was back on, or was on originally? Because we covered a lot of Ed's backstory in the industry, so I don't want to cover the same stuff. But it is a very interesting story. But do you know the number?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll put it in the show notes. I can find it. Put it in the show notes.
Fuck's sake.
Without covering all the backstory, let's jump into like now. So 30 years as a photographer, 20 doing weddings. What still motivates you to keep going after all those years?
The fact that I don't know how to do anything else, mainly, but is the truth. But I've never done anything other than be a photographer. So from when you're doing something from such a young age, and it was your hobby before it was your job, it's the main thing that motivates me is just that I find it very, very creative, very therapeutic. don't want to sound braggy, but I find it quite easy because I've just done it so much. Obviously, it was never easy to begin with, and I've made a lot of mistakes in the early part of my career to get to the point where I find it easy. And easy and being confident are two very different things. And I'd say that only in the last 7 or 8 years have I become mega confident in myself and in my ability to take decent pictures. So it's not a quick, it's not a quick, some people can, some people with the equipment that is out there nowadays, with the software that's out there nowadays, some people can get very good very quick. But I personally, it took me a long time to have confidence in my ability. And it's kind of what inspires me to keep going year after year. I just couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah. You know, I've never really thought about the difference between confidence. But it's funny because, so I don't know if you know, Ed, since recording with you last time, we've started doing hybrid elements. So we're doing photo and video. So I'm now doing stills and video at the same time. And someone at our first workshop, came over and was asking how it went. And you know what? I had to say, I found it easy. Yeah. There wasn't much of a difference for me between the video mode on my camera and the photography mode. I suppose the backup would be, you know, I have said in the past we're hybrid. Technically, that's not true. We're photo and video. Hybrid being, you know, maybe a hybrid would not have a second shooter. So knowing that Greg's there as a backup maybe took a lot of stress off me. But I would say I found it easy, but my confidence wasn't quite there. So I was making good images. They just weren't great images. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they weren't blowing you away. Do you mean? I totally agree. I've given, on the flip side, I've given video go in the past, and I've never found it easy. It's not hugely excited me, and I've quit before even getting to a point where I'm mediocre at it, because I'm just like, there's a reason why there's videographers and there's photographers, and the people that can do both, hats off to you if you can do both really, really well. I concentrate on one thing because I do kind of find it easy, and it's just annoying when people say, "Oh yeah, but you're good at that. That just comes really easy to you. That comes really natural." But then you kind of have to remind them, I'm crap at everything else. So why can't I be good at one thing? I mean, I'd love to be able to do the plumbing. I'd love to be able to fix electrics in the house. I'd love to be doing all this random stuff that other people find easy as well. But I just concentrate on being really good at one thing. Mm-hmm. And God, that sounds really vain, doesn't it? Saying really good at one thing. But
it's like it's 20, 30 years of repetition and doing
and failing.
There's the famous quote of like, was it 10,000 hours is what it takes to become an expert or to become good at something. And
what was it, Henri Cartier-Bresson quote as well, wasn't it? He had to take 5,000 photos before he started taking ones that he liked. I think it was his quote. But yeah, I'm the same. It's kind of, I've learned from every mistake that I've made, and I know we touched on that a bit on the last podcast, so I won't go into that too much detail. But you've got to learn from your mistakes. If you're not learning from your mistakes immediately, you'll just ponder on them, and that'll get you down, and then that will just manifest into a downward spiral of like being depressed about your work. So you got to own up when you mess up. So it's a tricky thing that most creatives go through, and it's up there with imposter syndrome and everything else, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. You know that quote, I know many photographers are thinking, going, oh shit, if he's saying it took him 5,000 photos to have a good one,
it's going to be 100,000 now.
It's going to be 100,000 for us, because like burst modes on cameras nowadays is crazy.
Take 5,000 on one wedding, so you could just say, well, To start out with, I'll do one wedding I don't care about to get the 5,000 out of the way. Well, don't do that, for God's sake.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose, the question kind of leads on like, 30 years, a long time. And maybe we did touch on this originally. There are going to be things that we touched on in the last podcast that I'm sure, like Greg and I don't listen to our own voices. That's crazy. So we might be repeating, but that seemed like there's a lot of time. And if I think back to like our 15 years doing wedding films, like if I watch my first film, I'm like, yeesh.
Yeah.
Things have changed quite a bit. So I'm intrigued, like, from those beginning years, what has changed for you? And it could be like skill based or even your views on the industry. And has that affected your work? Like,
well, I'd say over the last year to 18 months, what has changed has actually come back full circle. So the first 7 years of my career was shot solely on film. The first 4 or 5 years was black and white. I was processing when I was working in the newspapers, processing up till midnight and doing all that. And then now we've seen a resurgence of film over the last few years. And to begin with, I was like, oh God, we haven't got to go down that route again. But now I'm actually embracing it, and I'm loving shooting film at weddings again. And I know that's a good thing about the retreat, is the fact that there's going to be some film. I personally, I'm not 100% film. I shoot a little bit of film at weddings. The majority of mine is digital, but some of the speakers are going to be film shooters, so they'll be bringing that into the mix. But the thing that I've really seen come back in is film, and I never ever anticipated that when I went over to digital in like 2001, 2002. I just thought I'd never pick up a film camera again. Luckily, I kept hold of my film cameras just because they were worthless back then, and they're actually worth something again now.
Yeah.
So sadly, I didn't keep hold of a lot of film, but it's that and the fact that traditions have changed. Like I said, I'm primarily a wedding photographer, so when I was shooting weddings at the beginning of my career, God, if I was to look back at the pictures now, yes, they would be dated, but that's because fashion's changed. It's in processes change. I was shooting on black and white film, so they've got a very timeless feel anyway, but the color ones are definitely, you can tell, are from like the turn of the century. God damn. That really makes me feel old. But it's true, isn't it?
There's ways to word that don't make it seem like we're all 100 years old.
Yeah, well, I'm nearly 50. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where you are constantly trying to recreate your style, but at the same time, I'd say over the last 5 or 6 years, my style is not plateaued, but it's got to where I'm happy with, and there's no surprise that that's struck with the timeline of me saying that I'm confident in my abilities and confident with my brand, with my style, and I'm very fortunate that still brings in the work and still attracts people. Whereas if I was shooting in this style 20 years ago, yeah, I would have really, really stood out, but would people have wanted that thing that wasn't traditional? And there's a reason why traditional worked back then, and why what's working now is just like everyone's a documentary photographer now. We're not set apart. If anything, we're the norm, and candid photography is the norm. And it's kind of like the people that are doing more editorial wedding photography or something a bit more staged, they're kind of standing out amongst the rest of us now.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. You said something interesting, and just for our listeners out there, obviously we pre-record our episodes. Today is the 3rd of December. Now, I believe Spotify are doing their like wrap up of what people have been listening to, right? And it's interesting because in previous years when this has happened, and Ed, do you listen to Spotify, or do you have Apple Music, or?
Yeah, I've got Apple Music. Yeah.
So Apple do a similar thing. I don't know if it's the same time, but you get your wrap up and how many minutes you listen to what artists and stuff. But
yeah,
it's interesting. In previous years, people have been really excited about the wrap ups. However, this year it seems to be the first where I've noticed that people are like, nah, not really into it. And, people have been, I think the prices of subscriptions went up again with no real benefit to a service. And so people are really leaning back into physical media, which I find so interesting. I mean, obviously, like vinyls have been around, and like if you look behind me, I've got my vinyl player. I love vinyls, just because I get time to like sit down and focus on something, like read the lyrics or go through the artwork. But even CDs are coming back. Like owning physical media is now.
I've still got all mine.
Do you? So
I've
there's going to be listeners.
Mine,
there's going to be listeners just like me, and I don't know if you're the same, Greg. I know you got rid of some of your vinyls, but like I had thousands of CDs. Like, I would spend my teen years going into HMV, picking an album I didn't know, going up to the little machine, scan it, and just sitting there in the shop listening to a record.
Yeah.
That just doesn't happen anymore. But I gave them all away.
Apart from the really I kept all mine. I've got hundreds and hundreds of CDs. I was so close to giving them away, but I've not even got a CD player anymore. It's just I think I might have the portable Sony Discman somewhere.
Yeah,
wow.
Sony CD player. God knows where that is, but yeah. You got the resurgence of that, definitely.
Yeah. It's so fascinating, and I wonder, like, obviously, people are going back into the film. I wonder how many photographers, actually print out things to give their clients. I don't. Do you do that if you're?
No, I don't, and that's a good point. It has crossed my mind because this year I shot a few where I've got them scanned. I've got them developed, scanned, which obviously costs a fair bit of money.
Yeah,
buying the film as well. I get it off Amazon, but I could shop around and get it a bit cheaper. But I buy it in bulk, and so I get it scanned, high res, TIFFs, and then I didn't even tweak the last lot they sent out because they came back to me and they weren't perfect, but they looked like how I would have remembered film being shot. So I didn't want to tweak it. I sent it out to the couple. I added it onto the PicTime gallery at the bottom, just your film shots, and then they got it about a month after they got the gallery, and they absolutely loved them. That couple really loved film photography. So that was a bonus to them, and they enjoyed seeing me shooting with my little point and shoot on the day as well. So I'd be doing the portraits, and I'd be like, "Oh, let me take one with the film camera," and then the flash makes a massive noise as it goes off.
Yeah,
and it's the camera that I had when I was like 18, 19 that I took to lots of festivals with me, and it looked good, but a part of me only over the last couple of days has just been like, oh, wouldn't it have been nice to send the couple out something tangible, something that they could hold, and the prints from that. And then it kind of just makes me realize that I don't do that with the digital. Since I've been with PicTime, they just get the gallery, they get a slideshow, and then there's just nothing tangible. Whereas I was just like, I'm kind of like, it doesn't sit right with me because I'm like, if I was to spend that amount of money, I would like something to have and to hold as much as, I don't know, I'm sure over the last few years I've thought about doing photo books as well, but then I've looked into the price of doing that, and there are really cheap ways of doing it, but the product looks really cheap. So I don't want a couple to spend thousands on me. Then I give them something as a surprise, even if it's free or complimentary. And then it kind of downgrades your whole the whole presentation of what you've done for them up until that point, because if they've got something and then after a year, like, it comes away at the binding because you've given them something cheap, it's kind of why when I do an album, I don't make a lot of profit from my album, but I have to charge a certain amount because I use a supplier that's really expensive and really good, because I want these albums to last as long as their marriage. So it's got to be made to last.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I actually have a photo album of my wedding. At the time, nice leather book. It had, it's very dated now, I'm not gonna lie, but like it's not been opened like a ton throughout the years. It usually just sits kind of
it's a
in
massive
the open.
doorstop.
I mean, not quite, not quite doorstop, but it's definitely like more of a decorative. There's a big book on my shelf. Yeah. But like the leathers started to like old and it doesn't have the flexibility anymore. It's like crusting when you open it. And so, I think having a good product is, especially if you're like a supplier who sells on the idea of, you're going to be looking at these pictures in like 20 years
longevity.
Time, if you're thinking about that, if you're thinking about creating like a visual legacy, that's the word that we use, visual legacy, which is a little bit different for films because digital files don't really age.
Well, no, that's the thing from your perspective as well. You can only send out something digitally, can't you? They're not going to have anything physical to hold unless you give them an iPad or something with the product on. I know a few years ago when I think I was doing the big wedding fair at Earl's Court about 10 years ago, and one of the luxury photographers, you actually got the pictures on an iPad. So he was charging a hell of a lot of money because you were getting the USB, but you're also getting the iPad with it on there. Yeah, I know, exactly. It was a great idea, but I was kind of just like, well, that's a lot of effort, and you've got to charge an insane amount to get that back. But if that was a niche and it was working for him, it was a good idea. It was a bit different. Nobody else was doing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's caught your attention. Like, you've remembered it to this moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remembered it, and I was kind of just like, oh, how much space is left on there for you to put other stuff other than just the wedding? Yeah.
Well, I want to stick on this for thing a bit, because in the way that people are moving back to physical media and owning stuff, right? It kind of feels the same with digital files, and NFTs had their thing. And I think at the end of the day, they got ridiculed out of existence. I'm sure there's NFTs kicking about, but really having a form, having a digital token, and then a form that says this is the only one of this thing. I mean, I'm simplifying it, obviously, but like, it just seemed like a mad idea that didn't really pan out. Correct me if I'm wrong, listeners. I don't think it panned out very well. I'm sure loads of people lost money, and a lot of people gained a lot of money from idiots who bought them. Oh, sorry if you're an idiot who bought one. I didn't mean that. I love you.
Or a successful idiot that sold one.
Yes, well done. If you convinced someone to buy something that was digital. Anyway. It just makes you think about the way that we operate in our business, or it makes me think about it. How do you approach your clients nowadays? Usually it's on social media. And then you book them, perhaps if you gel, you find the right client, and then you're doing video calls. But then after your video calls, once you've done their wedding, what happens after that? Or even, do people go to the pub and see their couples anymore?
Yeah, I did a wedding, when was it? 2 months ago? It was up in Glasgow, actually. And the couples, the bride's originally from Glasgow, the groom's from Nottinghamshire. And the week before, they booked me nearly 2 years ago, which is a rarity nowadays. It's like last minute bookings are really becoming more popular with me, and I think across the industry. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. If you believe anything online, everyone's saying they're fully booked now. I don't believe that.
I don't believe anyone that says that.
Exactly, yeah. What is fully booked? But anyway, I met up with them the week before, went up to Glasgow to shoot their wedding, and it was just over a couple of beers. And I'd not done that for years, but it was really, really nice. And then when I got up to Glasgow the following week to do the wedding, it was a lot. It was so relaxed because I'd only spent like two hours with them, had a couple of beers, but we didn't really talk about anything to do with the wedding.
Yeah,
I couldn't have probably seemed less interested in the actual wedding day when I met up with them. I was learning more about them and kind of educating them how I was going to work and what kind of floats my boat, why I shoot the way I do, hearing from them. Because you kind of, as a business owner, you can be a bit selfish in those scenarios where you kind of use them for a bit of feedback, and you're kind of like, oh, what was it that why you booked me, and how did you find that wedding fair, and whether is it worth me doing that again? And I did that, to be honest. And then on the wedding day, we just gelled really well, and they were kind of like, oh, this is Ed, who we met last week. Oh yeah, we heard about that. So it's not just them that you've put the groundwork in. It's kind of like the whole bridal party then, and then everyone's a bit more chilled with you.
Yeah.
And I just found, not that I found it panned out any better than any other weddings this year, but it was really nice meeting up with them. Would I meet up with a couple if it was the initial inquiry at a pub? Probably not, because I've got young kids. I value my time more nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very full aware that there's more tire kickers than ever nowadays. Ghosting is a thing.
Oh yeah.
I get ghosted. I'm cool with that. I'm fine with people that ghost me. I don't chase them up, and it's kind of a blessing in disguise. If somebody doesn't get back to me, I don't want to shoot your wedding, to be honest.
Yes. Thank you, Ed. I feel like I'm the only person who appreciates when people ghost them, because they were only going to waste my time.
Yeah, and it's only going to end in tears if you constantly chase a couple. Come on, what happened on the Zoom then? I thought we got on really well. That just smatterings of desperation, but also it's kind of like, you shouldn't need to. If I go into a shop and somebody's just like on my back about to buy something, I hate the hard sale, so I just instantly go off it. Even if I really bloody like the product, I'll be like, oh, don't do the hard sale because I'm going to buy it, and then it'll annoy me enough to be that kind of person to just walk out. So I don't mind people ghosting, because if it didn't work out, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah,
life goes on.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some business people out there being like, "Oh no, what you're saying is completely wrong, because that's your opportunity to do."
But they're probably better business. They're probably better business people than me. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and maybe that works if you're like doing a service. No, if you're selling a product. But then, I don't know. Anyway,
we're service providers, but I don't think we're providing a product. We're I don't know. Well, I do know what we're providing, but it's not, going back to what we were saying, it's not a tangible product, but it's something that you'll appreciate more as you get older, and when you keep going back to the photos. And I've found that the last couple of years, like the messages I've got from couples that have sadly lost relatives over the years that are photographed, and that the longer you're in this business, the more you get those messages, and they really hit home when people just like, oh, that picture you took like 10 years ago, sadly granddad's not with us, mum and dad aren't with us, but we'll cherish them forever. And you're like, blimey, it's just the fact that you even thought to message me just goes to prove how deep that image has affected you at this sad time. So it's a weird one, but going back to the business side of it, I'm a good creative. I'm a terrible business person. I just don't do the hard sale, and I don't constantly nag people for answers. And if that means that you lose bookings, or I've done Zoom calls before, and then like 2 months later they've got back in touch with me and they've been like, oh, we want to book. And then if the date's available, brilliant. If not, they've got to understand that I don't hold a date. But they know that, again, it's all comes back to educating the couple, doesn't it, and being open and honest on that Zoom call. But in a 40-minute Zoom call, you can't do all the T's and C's in the last 20 seconds as it's wrapping up, and they're like, oh, we can just see we're about to lose you. Oh yeah, by the way, you can't. It's not like a radio advert where you just got to bombard them with all the T's and C's. You've got to hope that they're going to use a bit of common sense to work out. We either book him now or we potentially lose him.
Yeah.
A lot of photographers who err on this sort of side of, oh, I'm more of a creative, I'm not good at the business things.
Yeah.
But then I always stop and think, but you've run a business for X amount of years, whether it's only 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And you've not been found out yet. Like, you've been running for quite a while. It's like, you must be okay
still
at
winging
business
it. Still
to manage to get along for that length of time.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, maybe I'm doing myself a bit of a disservice, but I know that I could be financially in a better position than where I am now if I had been more cutthroat, and but my morals sit differently to some people that just go all out for the business side. I'm like, as long as I can take the kids away on holiday, on a decent holiday once a year, as long as I pay the bills and got food on the table, and I'm not burning myself out like I have done in previous years. I only want to shoot 15 weddings a year. I charge X amount of money to everyone. It's the same price across the board. That's where my business parameters sit. Whereas like before my confidence was there, I was all over the place. It was just a chaotic mess. So, and the business was probably booming more then from a financial point of view, but I was just burnt out, and I was just not going through the motions, because I was creatively successful and I was enjoying what I was doing, but I certainly wasn't turning the weddings out in the timeline that I was telling people. It was like, I'd be saying, oh yeah, it's a 4-week turnaround. And then I'm like, crap, it's 6 weeks have passed now and I haven't even culled it. And this was, I don't use AI. I don't use to help me at all. I'm very old school, because with 15 weddings a year, I don't feel the need to do that. So it's all, the whole business side of it is if you're coming on the retreat, you're not going to get a TED Talk business. You're not going to be going on Dragon's Den with any advice that you pick up from me if you come on the retreat. I'm afraid it'll be very creative, and it will be intentional, and just talking about not having an ego in the industry, and trying to stay relevant, and just trying to build a community with other people. And not business. Anyone that even comes on my workshops when I do them, it's like, as soon as we start talking about money, I struggle to not roll my eyes, because I'm like, you want to see my prices page, do you? Is that? And they're like, yeah. I get it. We all obsess over the prices page and how much we charge and stuff like that, but that in the whole grand scheme of things is a very small part of being a wedding photographer, I think.
Yeah. So was it a mind shift that came at some point that made you realize of, this is all I need to be comfortable in life, happy with where I am? Because like, what's stopping you falling back into old patterns of,
it was COVID,
taking on too many bookings, or
2020? Yeah, 2020 killed me. It was horrific. Being a limited company, I didn't get a penny from the government, and all of a sudden just watched a very healthy business account, as I've handed back deposit after deposit, just like plummet down. I was like, crap, this is like, I couldn't believe it. You're just thrown out of the deep end. You just always think weddings are going to be there. I didn't have my finger in any other pies, so I wasn't doing like commercial photography. I'd knocked the press photography and the sports photography on the head, because I just thought, well, weddings are always going to be there. I'm well off in the summer, and then the pot empties as winter goes. But because COVID happened at the beginning of essentially wedding season, the pot emptied immediately, didn't it? So if you're a limited company and you didn't save, like me, I've never been a saver. I've always I've never been in debt, but I've always just lived with what's in my bank account and lived that way. And I like nice things. And back then you can just like, well, I haven't got any money in the business account and we can't photograph weddings. So it was that. And the fact that I could see, well, when weddings do happen again, I'm going to run the risk of getting burnout again, which is what I had back in like 2016, 2017, when I was shooting nearly 60 weddings a year. And going back to, like I was saying, I wasn't getting the weddings out in the time frame that I was telling couples. And like I said about what I think is morally right, I think you need to be honest. And if you can't get your weddings out in the timeline that when somebody's signed that contract and they've paid for you, you need to be immediately transparent with a couple and say, look, I'm afraid you're not going to get your wedding photos back in time. I've never had a couple argue at me when I've been open and honest with them, but I have had a couple in the past when I've kind of made out as if, oh no, you're going to be getting them soon, and then you haven't even started culling them. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's one of those things where I just think, just be open and honest with your couples or with everyone, and then you just everyone's on the same page, and I like that with my couples as well, when they're like, oh, I know we said that we only wanted 2 or 3 group photos, but actually it's going to be near enough 10, and I'm like, I'm fine with that, because you're telling me that now for the wedding day, so we can factor that into the day. If you told me that on the wedding day when the head of catering's having a go at me because we need to get in for the first course of 7 courses, and you've got another 10 group photos, now I look like public enemy number 1, when in actual fact it's your fault. So again, the honesty works both ways in this industry, doesn't that?
Yeah, 100%. Going back to meeting your clients down the pub though, is there any changes? Like, obviously you then alluded to like good communication is key, and I think people fully expect clear communication, and I don't even think through the contract. I think if things are going to fall back onto the contract, I think you've dropped the ball somewhere else along the line. If you're relying on your contract to inform couples of a decision, that's a flaw in your business. But like, has there been any other ways that you've implemented, like going down to the bar or something similar that like helps build that trust, helps communicate something that not just allows you to like be friendly with a couple on the day and have that good banter to be able to take good images? Because I think we know, if we know our couples and their story and we gel with them, we're able to take good photos because they let us in. But like in terms of like even selling something, and I know we don't like talking selling things, but Ollie and Steph,
I think on social media you need to sell yourself.
100%. 100%.
But I like to think that my couples follow me on, well, I tell my couples when they book me, if you're on Instagram, I'm more vocal, well, not vocal, but I post on Instagram a good few times a week. I always have done ever since Instagram came out. I'm not a massive Facebook. I have it so that the post goes up on Instagram and it simultaneously goes up on Facebook, but I could have messages sat on my inbox for weeks in there and I wouldn't know, just because I don't touch it. I don't touch it personally or for the business. I don't know why. But Instagram, even though it doesn't work for everyone, it works for me once a couple have booked, and then they can have a few reels on there. I'm not doing this all the time. I hate the sound of my own voice, so I don't do to camera pieces. I don't do behind the scenes at weddings because I'm solely focused on the wedding. I even put an Instagram post up saying, like, encouraging other photographers, stop beating yourself up about not doing behind the scenes. And then I actually had couples sending me messages saying, we love it, the fact that you're not going to be doing behind the scenes at our wedding day because we've paid you to be there photographing the wedding and not doing marketing for yourself. So that kind of some photographers can do that. I can't do 2 things at once like that. It's kind of like when I've tried fitting the phone on top of the camera with the little bracket. I bought that bracket. I think I've used that bracket once. The phone fell out a couple of times and I'm like, I look like a dick now.
We're going to interrupt this podcast to bring you an advertisement for PickTime. Our buddies at PickTime, we love PickTime. If you want to elevate your business, PickTime's maybe the way to do it.
It's an online gallery delivery service.
It's a really good looking one, which is initially how we got into the service. It just looks better than all the other kind of platforms that we personally use.
Yeah, and we've over time got to know the owners, got to know the people behind it. Lovely people, great support system there as well.
There's just so many tools at your fingertips with PicTime, but the marketing and the blogs and the slideshow features.
Yeah, there's so much more than just a gallery delivery service. You've got all those things that Simon was talking about. You can create your own blog from it. You can create slideshows. One new feature that I really love is the vendor network. It's where you can use AI to curate a gallery for a specific supplier. So you could use AI to gather all the photos of the flowers and send them to the florist, and they would have that gallery specific just for them.
It's kind of a mind-blowing feature.
Yeah.
And we might as well be taking advantage of AI before the uprising and it starts taking advantage of us. So let's just all bear that in mind.
Yeah, and not to mention the built-in store, and that way you can just make more money while also having a nice, aesthetically pretty gallery.
Yeah. And if you want to sign up today, you can get a free month if you use Perspective at checkout.
Yeah.
So if you want to test it out for free for a month, go for it.
Take your business to the next level with PicTime.
I'm just like, I'm not doing that again, because you just, I'm sure it doesn't fall out all the time, but at the same time, I was kind of like that, just remembering to press record, and then I'm doing that. And it just doesn't work for me. There's that Australian photographer that uses a 360 thing, and he's got an amazing online presence.
Josh Hewitt.
Yeah, John. Yeah. His looks really good, and he's really good at that. And if it works for you, it works. It just doesn't work for me because I'm solely focused on. I would beat myself up too much on the drive home if I missed a photo, but because I was mucking around with trying to get a behind the scenes shot of me looking like a middle-aged fool trying to set a photo up. Do you know what I mean? I'm just all about the final product and what that couple have invested in me. A lot of the time it just goes back to what would I, if I was paying out. I'm always thinking about what the couple have invested in me as to how it's perceived. And it's also even in the fact, like when I'm talking to guests all day, I don't want to be overly chatty, but I don't want to be the grump that doesn't talk to anyone. And 20 years ago, you asking me the question earlier, how things changed. I was the grump, even though I was a lot younger, that didn't want to talk to anyone because I was in work mode and I didn't think that you could be enjoying work that much. Whereas now I really enjoy work, and it's a sociable job. If you're not a people person, it's the wrong job for you.
I mean, there's definitely, like, we've spoken to photographers who are definitely more introverted and they can shoot really beautiful images. But you're right. For me personally, I am the same. I will say this though, Ed. So I shoot with a 360 camera, right? And once it's going, it's just going.
Yeah.
Like an iPhone's a little bit different because it's pointed in one direction. So you do need
does
to
it
kind
sit
of
on
pay
your?
attention to
Where
both.
does it go? Does it sit on your hot shoe?
It does.
Is it the one where I've seen the video of you getting smacked in the face by the camera?
Fucking 700,000 folk have seen that photo, that video. I love that edit. No, it just this is it here. It just kind of like sits on the side of my camera, and you can point it in any direction. You have it on top or to the side. I actually like to treat it as a handle, so I can get smoother shots. But with this, when it's going, you don't need to concentrate on it. It just does its thing. You do need to remember to push record from time to time. So sometimes you just forget to capture moments, but it's never been a distraction. Whereas I think if you had a GoPro camera or you had an iPhone, you're trying to hit record every shot, and that's where it does get tricky and it can distract. But I will say, when you edit these videos, and that takes a bit of time as well. If you're recording all the day, that's a lot of footage to go through and quite a lot of memory. But I had this idea of myself, and when I would watch this back, what I saw was not what I thought in my head. And so it's a very interesting tool to analyze who you are at a wedding.
Way you work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't need somebody, but it takes me back to about 20 years ago when I shot my cousin's wedding, and my parents were at it, my brother, and I was a lot quieter then. I was introverted, and halfway, I remember just kept looking back at my dad, and my dad was kind of just like watching aghast, and he was just like, "Who are you? Who's this person?" Because back then it was like lots of group photos, and I was like, "Right, can we get uncles?" And over there, and because I knew everyone, I was being really vocal and loud. But then as soon as we sat down for food, I was back to timid me. But they were just like, "Who was that?" And I was like, "Well, I'm working, aren't I?" So I went into work mode. And it is kind of this kind of dual personality where you are acting a bit on a wedding day. And if you're not an over the top person, you kind of have to find that energy, bring that energy and just come out of yourself a lot more. And if I had one of them and I watched myself back, the next wedding, I'd probably, don't stoop as much as you were stooping when you watched that. Don't lean over and make sure your shirt's tucked in, and don't say that again. I would overanalyze everything because of the way I am. I'm nowhere near as bad a overthinker as I used to be. But if I had something like that, or even when there's a videographer at a wedding, I'm watching what I'm not saying horrendous stuff, but in my head, I think I have to be like all airs and graces when I know there's sound being captured. It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean that
you're having to relive all your small talk, I guess, Simon, when you're scrubbing through that footage.
Yes. And
you're
to be fair,
what was I saying to them?
I mean, I've started so the image I thought of myself, Ed, was like I was like overly like talkative, I'd be very outgoing, blah 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 blah. Anyway, when I'd watch it back, I wasn't like that really. Like maybe during the shoot with the couple, maybe. But I've been improving myself.
Is it your actions, your voice, or your energy or mannerisms that you were surprised by, or everything?
It was my energy. It was a bit more tempered down and reserved how I imagined it. And there'd be like moments of, a good conversation with a person or whatever. In between all that, it was just me like holding my breath and grabbing a shot. A lot of that. So now when I go to a wedding, I have to do the opposite of what you said. I don't go work mode. Right, party mode. We're at a party.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want people to see me as a camera person. I want them to see me as a person. Again, allowing me to try and get in when it's the dance floor type stuff, which I still struggle with, the dance floor stuff.
Really?
If I haven't built up a good enough rapport with certain people in certain groups.
But sometimes the dance floor bit that you can not rescue, if it's been a tame day up until then. I've had a couple this year where they forewarned me at the Zoom stage that they're going to have they're massive party animals. They went for my big package. They wanted me there till late. And all day I was just thinking, this isn't as big as party as I was expecting. But then it just blew up in the evening, and I could have just gone around with a 20mm blind and shot everything. And so they were right.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I'm purely talking for film. Because when it's a dance floor and I'm second shooting for someone, again, like you just said, I'm direct flashing, I'm doing the shutter drag, I'm creating some amazing images that look very high energy, even if it was just in a barn and there weren't that many people. You can make it look fantastic with shutter drag and all that kind of stuff. But with video, because you need to get access into like a circle, and then you need to gain someone's attention for 2 to 3 to 4 minutes, and whatever they decide to do
Seconds.
Sorry, seconds. Oh my God, minutes. I'm doing it wrong.
Dancing for a full song with them.
Documentary. Well, like getting people to like act in a way that looks good on film is difficult, because if you haven't built the rapport, you get the whole, you look to the side and then they do the whole turning slowly, and you know they're not meaning to like wall you out, but that's what is happening.
Are you always thinking that on the dance floor?
Am I always thinking what? That I'm getting walled out?
No, that you're on there and that you're being judged or you're being watched or.
I think maybe in the past I would think, oh yeah, people are watching me, but it's not that anymore, because
they're not, seriously. Everyone's so hammered by that point, and the ones that aren't drunk, probably they'll either be people that don't need alcohol to have a good time and be on a dance floor, or they'll be elsewhere. They'll be the ones at the tables in a circle bitching and moaning, look at them on the dance floor and all that. And then you're not going to be filming or photographing those people, because then they're not making good pictures or video, are they? You're going to be focusing on the people. You might go up to them and do a nice portrait, or especially if they're sharing a moment, but your concentration is going to be on like the wildness of the dance floor, and it never goes through my mind anymore. I always just think everyone's so hammered, they couldn't care less that I'm here, and it's very rare now. That's the only time of the day that I use flash as well. So if I know flash is annoying somebody on the dance floor, I will just fire off a couple of flashes and then I'll move on to a different group. If there's hopefully other groups on the dance floor, and the more chaotic the dance floor is, the better I like it. I can't stand a quiet dance floor, or one where you as a photographer stands out, because that's just not gonna welcome anyone onto the dance floor. It just doesn't. So it's one of those ones where I will stay later if it's making good pictures and it's building up the story of the day. And if you think something wild's going to happen on the last dance, I'd even stay for that. And I did for the Glasgow wedding. It was kind of just like, I've come all the way to Scotland to shoot a wedding. It's the final dance in half an hour. Why wouldn't I stay? And then they lift them up, and then you get the lifting up shot, and they're like, "Oh my God, you were still there then." And he's just like, if they didn't notice you there, they clearly know that proves that they're having a good time and the drinks kicked in, and B, you've been discreet enough to do exactly what you said you were going to do.
Yeah, I like that. Let's stay on this topic, because I think people have a lot of trouble with dance floors. But let's talk about it from a photography point of view, because, and I'll mention this very quickly, when I go and shoot a wedding for video, my goal is to capture a vibe. And so, like you just mentioned, the people sitting down, I ain't videoing them. There's no point. I used to in the past. I used to be like, I gotta get everyone doing whatever they're doing at the party. Did it ever make the edit? Absolutely not, because they're boring. Sorry, uncles and aunties. Your time was during the day, and I do concentrate. I make sure.
Unless those people are evening guests and they've just joined up, and then I will do like an 85 mil shot, just from distance of them, just so they're in the gallery, so that it's kind of covering you. But I think I've even got it in my contract that I can't guarantee a photo of every single person. But I won't, even if they're as important as a direct parent, I'm not going to go and hassle them if they openly don't like having their picture taken. And then that's just,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's right.
So your goal for dancing is also to capture the vibe, because I'd be nervous as a photographer to go back to my old mindset I want to tell the story of the whole dance floor. And I tend to do this in chapters, or like throughout the day. Like if there's a ceremony going on, I want to make sure that I'm not just like focusing on what's happening up at the front. I want to be like, what are the people in the crowd doing? What are they up to? Like I'm always like side-eyeing everything. same with drinks reception. Like, what are they drinking? I'm going to get a shot of the, like, whatever the cocktails are, or like little tiny things like this. And it would apply to my mindset with the dancing. There's Auntie Margaret sitting down, but
it is. My mindset is very, very simple, and it goes back to my press photography days. It's kind of just like, if it looks good, shoot it. It's just one of those. Even if I walk to the toilet and I just see some smashed glass and loads of empty bottles of wine, that I will take a picture of that, and that's my version of capturing the vibe of the day, because you're just capturing pictures are going to intertwine with the gallery. And this is where I do have to agree with you, where I think photography is easier than video, because those pictures that you intersperse into the gallery, you kind of create in like a magazine, and the scene setters, detail shots are fillers at the end of the day. They're fillers, but they're fillers of pictures of stuff that couples have paid a lot of money for. That venue cost a lot of money. All that booze cost a lot of money. Photograph it. It's just like they will appreciate the fact that you've done that. The majority of people will, even if people see you taking a picture and like, why is he photographing all the corks on the floor and all that? That's art. That's art to me. I'm looking at that, and I see that. I went for a run this morning, and I'm looking at the leaves on the floor and the apples and all that on the floor, rather than the apples beautifully in the tree and the colourful leaves are there. I'm looking at the carnage of everything else. And on a wedding day, I think very simply, I don't overthink anything. It's why I don't turn up with a shot list. I have to be an open book, as if that wedding's the first wedding I've ever shot. And it is capturing a vibe. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And you've got to take each couple differently as well. Some couples will obsess over everything from the color scheme to their wedding day, to how much money they've spent on certain things. And then other couples will just be like, we love your website, we love your Instagram, just do you, we're excited to see what you capture with your eye. And that's as music to my ears as a couple that like value lots of stuff, and they've spent money on stuff. But when it comes to the evening, I'm kind of just like, if people are having a good time on the dance floor, I'm going to photograph that. And then, like you said, if there's just a table full of people that I've probably got photos of in the day, I'm going to leave them alone. And if anything, they'll probably be shocked if I go over. And I'm certainly not going to go over and say, come on, cheer up, and do anything like that. But I will leave them alone. There's a reason why they're being like that. They're probably tired. Weddings are long days for guests, just as much as they are for us. I get a lot of guests come up and they're like, "You're still here?" And you're like, they're like, "Oh my God, we can't wait till we go home." And then you've been there for like 10, 11 hours, and you're still waiting for the good stuff to kick off. And because you know it's gonna kick off, it makes that drive home so much easier, because you've got it in the bag the last couple of hours. But I think I said to you on the last podcast, the older I get, the more I enjoy the evening part of a wedding day. I used to really resent it. Like back in the day, I'd just be like, it was how I used to treat gigs. I'd be 3 songs and I'm off. I had a DJ at a wedding a few weeks ago, and he looked round, and I was having a drink at the bar. I kind of had put the camera down by then. He said, "Are you still here?" And I said, "Oh yeah." He's just like, most photographers bugger off after like half an hour. And I was just like, yeah, but nobody was dancing for straight after the first dance, because the pizzas and the evening food came out. So I said, I haven't actually got anything yet from the dance floor. And again, it's about being honest. If you say to your couples, I go after 3 songs, that's not much good to them a month later when they get the pictures back and they're like, well, hang on, where are all the dancing pictures? So and again, exactly. that comes down to the whole how your moral compass swings, and whether you want to be the businessman, if you want to leave dead on that as soon as that 10 hours is up, that's up to you. But I care too much about Google reviews, and I get a lot of bookings off of recommendations and people that meet me at a wedding, or I've had couples that book me because of they've seen that I'm still there an hour after I've been paid, and then they've been like, God, every time we've looked at you, you've had a smile on your face. You really enjoy this. That's so much better than somebody saying, "Oh, I remember that wedding where the photographer like left at 9 p.m. on the dot because that was what they were paid up to." This is their wedding day. It's a very big day.
Yeah, I've never really understood the photographers who the business model is the hourly coverage and they'll charge extra for the later night stuff. Because to me, it's just like, you surely want to just get that for your own portfolio, like not your own portfolio, but for the album to tell the full story of the day, and also just for your own creativity.
Yeah, I can get. Trust me, I don't need any more after all these. I don't need any more stuff in my portfolio. Yeah. But yeah, the hourly thing is something I've never done. I have had a package like back in 2018, 2019, which was really popular, which is kind of what buggered me up for COVID. I had 8 hours, and then you paid per hour on top of it. So I ended up getting a hell of a lot of bookings for 2020 because that was such a popular package. I've never done that package since, not because I'm expecting another pandemic, but because it just didn't fit my business model. Plus, if it got to 9 hours and then the couple were just like, "Oh, can you stay for another hour?" You've got to make that awkward conversation with potentially a drunk couple saying, "Oh, come on, Eddie, we'll give you the cash." And I've had it. They've said, "We'll go and get the cash from the cash machine." Now we're like, "Well, don't be silly. It's your wedding day. I trust you." But at the same time, if nothing happens for the next hour, you could easily come back and say, "Well, no, there was nothing to shoot." So it is a tricky. It'll always be a tricky thing. That what you just described, the evening thing, and it's what scuppers me in Zoom inquiries where they're just like, "Oh, we want to go for your middle package." I'm like, "Well, that's good because that's why I price middle package at. And then when I have phases where I'm just like, I only do one package, and then but I can give you a bespoke quote if you're eloping, or if you want me for multiple days. Everyone's so bloody different now. You got to accommodate everyone, and sadly, it's that thing where even when couples are like, "So the 2 hours when we're eating and you're sat not doing anything, is that included in the 8 hours?" And you're like, "Sadly, yes, that isn't. That's when I will either be having my supplier's meal, but I will have the laptop out and I'll be backing up pictures and I'll be keeping an ear out for anyone going ching, ching, ching to do a surprise." Surprises happen all the time now. It's at weddings.
Literally the worst. That had actually happened recently, and it's. I feel like it would be all right as a photographer because at some point within like this, like a 10-minute or 15-minute speech window, someone would come and tell you, and you'd be able to go through, maybe grab a couple of shots. That's all you need, I think, as a photographer. As a video, it's like, if you don't get the first, like, if you miss the first 10 seconds, you might as well just have missed the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
So it happened recently when an aunt at Dunsky that she just like stood up and started dancing, and we were like fucking sprinting through, and we got and the boys were just like, "It's okay if you don't capture this. She does this sometimes." Like, okay,
the singing
she wasn't
waiters
on the list.
Or singing wait. I did a singing waiters one in the summer. They told me that they were going to do this, so I was on high alert. And there was a videographer as well at that, and the videographer was really good. He just kept really keeping an eye out. Then our food came, and I started eating, and I said, "Are you going to have your food now? It's going to go cold." He was like, "No." Like, the singing waiter's going to come out, and I was just like, "They won't come out." I took one bite, and then they started, and I was just like, "Oh, I've got a couple of minutes." I managed to hoof this burger down, and the videographer was looking at me going, "Oh, you lucky son." Because like you said, he couldn't miss any of that, whereas I've done singing waiters multiple times. I know they're going to go on for half an hour, so I didn't even miss, and it wasn't a surprise to the couple. So they weren't going to go, "Oh, who's booked this?" I didn't need to get that, but the videographer had to get reactions of the top table, reactions of the 120 guests, the actual singing waiters. Whereas, and again, going back to photography is easier than I just sauntered in with like half a burger like hanging out my mouth. I was a camera in the other hand, and I just left the rest of my kit in the chill out room. It was bliss, to be honest. It was easy.
Yeah. Hey, and for all those listeners out there, I would never say that photography is easy, or it's just these particular moments from my experience are where it's tougher.
Yeah, that was Ed's words.
I'm the one that keeps backing you up from the. Yeah, you mentioned it once, and I'm repeating myself. I'm good at that.
They each have their moments where they're easier. Photo and video.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely,
exactly.
absolutely.
The moments where I've wished that I was doing video is when funny stuff is said, and I'm just not capturing any audio, but something's said, and then it's not just the hilarity of what's said, it's the reaction that comes from that, or even the emotion sometimes, and then you can capture it in a photograph, but sometimes the videographer's there and they're just like the smile on their face because that audio has just like enhanced it so much, and photos will never capture that emotion and that sense. So that tends to be when I'm really jealous of you guys.
Yeah, great for social media. That being said, we don't get a lot of like really out there funny moments for speeches because I think our work is dark and sentimental. So I think people are more like it's more like heavy emotion.
So you got me behind the camera blubbering. You need to do more pub weddings in London then.
I mean, we've done a couple of pub weddings up here. One in particular was Ashton Lane, and a fight broke out. So that was fun.
Oh, that's
like,
funny.
Holy shit.
And we like, do we film this? Don't we film it?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, yeah. It's I want to know what people's opinions are on that. If something happens that isn't supposed to happen, do you film it? There was a wedding. Was it last year? Might have been last year. And there was a flower girl and a flower boy coming down the stairs. The flower boy just like misses a step, pulls the flower girl down. I mean, they're tiny, tiny toddlers, and I just see them blah 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 blah, blah coming down the stairs, and I'm
sorry,
I am filming. Greg's also filming. He's got a 70-200 on them, so you see the whole thing.
Yeah,
but It went in.
If only You've Been Framed was still going. You'd be thinking ka-ching.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the sort of moment where you are filming it and you have to film it because they're processioning down the aisle.
Yeah,
but you're standing there going, I should really run in and help.
Yeah,
well, obviously someone else runs in and help quickly, so it's fine.
I had a couple of years ago where a bride had a really massive dress on, and she tripped just as she got to it was an outdoor ceremony, and the guy looked at me and he went, "Please tell me you got that." And I didn't get it because they had a flower girl behind her, and they had already said, "Oh, it's really important that you get nice shots of the flower girl." So I took it, and then I looked over, and she didn't face plant. If she had face planted, I'd have definitely got that. But the fact that it was just like a stumble, and they said, "Oh," but afterwards they just said, "Oh no, I didn't get it," and they were fine. But if somebody's expecting you to get things like that, you kind of, I don't know, you should, and that's coming from an ex-press photographer I've shot everything. So when you're a press photographer, you're not even invited to a lot of the stuff that you're photographing. So that's why I don't find weddings too pressurized, because we've been invited, we've been paid to be there, and it's supposed to be a happy event. Whereas when I was a press photographer, a lot of the time you weren't invited, or you weren't necessarily wanted there.
Yeah. I've just got this picture of everyone doing an eye roll, being like, "Oh, there's Ed again with his camera." Oh, fuck's sake! Fuck off, Ed.
Everyone trying not to fall over.
Oh yeah, but some people are, and I think I'm one of these people. Like, I'm not going to post kids on social media.
Yeah.
Like, part of me is like, "Oh, I wish they were older, so I could definitely post that on social media." you'll just have to have pictures of me being hit in the face with the camera. That's as good as it's going to
get. Exactly. Yeah. It's a good clip.
Yeah. I was segueing into a conversation that I had with Ollie and Steph, and I know the conversation's kind of gone on a bit, but I find this really quite interesting. It goes back to the kind of physicality of products and stuff, and how businesses change. It's more digital now, but so forgive me, Ollie and Steph, I'm going to tell everyone what you told me. And so I don't know if you know Ollie and Steph. They're aluminum photographers based in Skye. They live there. They have done for many years. They converted one of their bedrooms into an office space / client meetup room. Yeah. And so they encourage their couples, because they're coming up to Skye, they can encourage couples to come into their house. And that is where they have a good few selections of different types of albums, and they really go ham on these are the albums, and it matches the tone of their website. They do that on their website, and that's a big part of their business, and they make quite a bit from it.
Passive income.
And so maybe not so passive, because they obviously
do the upsell first.
They focus on that.
But then if when they get that product though, they could be won over. And in the past, I've had parents buy parents albums that cost just as much as the initial one, and it's kind of like if the product is wowing somebody, I'd love to do something like that. But of all the 15 weddings I shot this year, only one of them's been based in Nottinghamshire. So it works. If it works for them because of their elopement thing, that's dynamite, isn't it?
Yeah, so they suggested to us that we do that with our office, that we create a little corner for couples to come in. And I'm like, well, I suppose the majority of our couples do actually end up coming to Glasgow. So you probably could figure out a time, and Greg and I probably could invest in doing something like that. So it's made me think about that type of sales approach, which is very old wedding business.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
And so, a lot of people new to the industry who might be listening, maybe thinking, "Oh, I've never heard that idea before."
Everything comes full circle.
Yeah, it does.
There's nothing to say. Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
So if you're doing a ton of local weddings, you should absolutely take that approach of, and I know the investment initially is quite high because you need to buy the printed materials and stuff, but if you can do that with the really, with the willpower to really get people into your office or your home to look at things physically, look at the product.
It's definitely a possibility, and it's. I went out last week on the local photographers Christmas meetup, and I'm jealous of people when they're just like, oh, all the weddings are in East Midlands, and all their weddings in Nottinghamshire. That kind of 10 years ago when I was starting, the majority of my weddings were like that. And then just as I started enjoying doing London weddings, that gets introduced into my portfolio, and it kind of just broadened it. And it means that 50% of my weddings are down in London. And I love London weddings. I find them really fun and easy to shoot because it's just a photographer's gorgeous backdrop. But at the same time, when you're talking to other photographers, you're like, oh God, you slept in your own bed after every wedding this year. You didn't have to pay out on any hotels, and you haven't had to get your car serviced 3 times this year. Again, that's going back to the whole business model. So if I was to start out again, I would definitely consider potentially being especially because I've got young kids as well, having a smaller area to work from, and like you just said, then that is a very old school way of working. My old boss 30 years ago, he used to do weddings, but he only did them in Newbury. He only did them in one town, and I remember one Saturday he shot 3 weddings because he just went to one, and you did the 10 stage shots, and then he went to another church, did that while I was off doing the press jobs, and occasionally you could help out by doing, when they come out the wedding, come out the church, and then they'd have the prints in the evening. So that's gone full circle, hasn't it? Because I'm turning around my preview pictures within 24 hours, and that's, some people might argue that's not quick enough. Some people might want them in the evening. Why, I don't know, but I do know.
Some people with other podcasts might slate you quite heavily for not having your previews ready fast enough. But not here, buddy. Not on this podcast.
24 hours. I thought 24 hours was quick, but apparently people are still saying, is there any chance you can get them in the evening? And I'm just like, I wouldn't know how to answer that if a couple would just like, I suppose I could give one like really nice portrait over like just before I left, but I don't know. It will happen. It will come about, and we will be like not tethered, but wiring pictures back as we're shooting them sooner or later, I think.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. That being said, I mean, I've been spending a lot of time on social media recently trying to get to grips with the different platforms. I'm still not very good at it, but I'm putting stuff out there every day, more or less.
Yeah.
But there is a narrative of, and this is, I was kind of alluding to it earlier with everyone going back to, they're coming off Apple Music, they're coming off Spotify, they want to own their physical media. There is that whole going back to the old world, So I don't think social media platforms are going to be the place to be in a few years, or that's what people are theorizing.
I don't. Do you think wedding fairs are going to become more? Because I've never not done a wedding fair.
You've never not?
I've never had a year where I've not done one wedding fair. Yeah. So I've had years. Yeah. I've had years when I was starting out where I was doing like 3 or 4 wedding fairs. Now I only tend to do one a year. This year I did the Unwedding show in Shoreditch in March, and I did it last October, and that worked really well for me. I couldn't do it this October because I had a wedding, but it's just one of those things where even if I just get lots of feedback off couples, I find them really beneficial at them. It's as much as I talk about like no egos and that, it's nice when couples are looking at your wedding album portfolios and they're saying things that they like. It makes you realize that you're heading in the right direction. And then you also chat to some people, and I remember having a really good conversation with one couple, and they were only like mid to late 20s, and neither of them were on Instagram. And a part of me was kind of, because I said, just follow me on Instagram, and they were just like, oh no, we don't do Instagram. And I was just like, okay, this is refreshing to hear. And then they went on that. They didn't go on to book me, but they did recommend me to their friend, who was on a social media, very, very, very big on social media. But the thing is, it was refreshing to hear that, and it just made me think, well, you can't rely on just whacking stuff on Instagram to get the bookings. So it kind of what makes me a bit more chatty at weddings. I'm not doing the sales pitch at weddings, but I'm making sure that people aren't looking at me and I'm just like miserable all day.
Yeah.
I've tried giving TikTok a go, and I just couldn't. I can't keep up the consistency of posting to it, and I just got nothing to say. Like every day, I just can't do I'm going out on another run. Yes, it'll be the same. It'll be the same loop that I do today. I've made this coffee, the same coffee I make every morning.
Yeah, the interesting thing about TikTok and Instagram Reels is that they are most certainly different platforms, and they have different goals as platforms. And some people know this, some people don't. But like TikTok is definitely a search engine.
It's I knew you were going to say that.
It's not social media, as we thought it was maybe a few years ago. It is definitely location, experience, that sort of thing. People are what people are searching for. That's the type of videos.
Do you think it's going to kill off Instagram or?
No, because Instagram is a different thing. It's not a search engine. It's still social media. Great for harboring. Like TikTok's great for like reach to get really far out there. Instagram is good at like nurturing a smaller community, and yeah. If so, this is where like I'm struggling with TikTok, because I've focused more on TikTok than I have anything else. If you're not offering like any information that's useful to people, or you're not connecting with them on a very on like a deep level, if you're not tapping into something that's in the zeitgeist or whatever, and you're having like conversations, if you're not doing that, then your 10-second videos aren't gonna do anything really. I don't think. Which is annoying. So we've got like 10,000 followers on our TikTok, which isn't that much, but it's big enough.
That sounds a lot to me.
I mean, it does sound a lot, but the problem I have that came from one video, maybe a year or two ago, and ever since then, TikTok changed, and now it's a search engine platform for sure. And so that video doesn't perform anywhere near as good. The content now that I'm putting out is not hitting at all. So I need to go and reassess stuff and be
what was the video that did really well?
It was of a groom. It was of a couple getting married in the sky, and the groom's got a kilt on. He's Australian, but his kilt is like whipping up. So the first time around, you had like people be like, men in skirts, that shouldn't be a thing. You've got like Marilyn Monroe thing. You've got he should be wearing kilt weights. He should, like, all these kind of like little conversational threads, which push a video to do really well.
This sounds like advert.
I mean, the conversation is just.
Did you have to? Were you replying to every comment or?
So I was at the time.
Yeah.
I'm not now for that video because it's quite old, and sometimes I'll repost it.
Yeah.
But I mean that got millions of views, that video.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't tend to happen like that anymore. But I'm not very good at I'm not very good at long form, or actually shorter form conversational moments, because I fill in my spaces with a lot of ums and ahs, and my brain doesn't work very fast. Maybe that might be because I'm dyslexic, and so I gotta learn to like keep on track. Or even use the teleprompter, which I'm actually using right now to look you dead in the eye. I have a teleprompter. I just don't use it. But it's interesting that people are saying that social media might not be as popular a couple of years down the line, because I'm like, oh yeah, when was the last time I blogged? Although that being said, I think, Greg, you posted a few bloggy things recently, didn't you? Or YouTube videos of ours? You finally got around to...
I've been doing like... descriptions for YouTube videos, which then I guess could be used as blog posts. I've not done them as blogs yet. The websites are getting a bit neglected.
Get to work, get bastards.
Hey, I'm Ashley from With Jack. I'm one of the sponsors of the Perspective podcast. With Jack helps to keep photographers in business by supporting them financially and legally if they have problems with a client or they make a mistake in their work. We've all had that fear of our CF card or our hard drive failing and losing important photos. You can find out more at withjack.co.uk. Head over there and find out how we can help you be a confident creative.
Well, I know that a hell of a lot of other wedding photographers follow my social media. So when I'm putting a post out, the majority of likes I get are from other wedding photographers, which is fine. That's nice. It's not bringing any money into my account because that's not fresh eyes and it's not couples. But then when I see a couple that have booked me, have liked it, or they've even seen an Instagram story, that's warming to me, knowing that the couple have been educated in some way by the post I've put up, or they've got slightly excited. They'll be like, oh yeah, hopefully he'll do this at our wedding. But a lot of the time, especially when it's blogs, when I occasionally put a blog out, I like to think that that's going to hit Google somehow, somewhere down the line, even if the venue reshare it. Inviting venues to be collaborators has worked well for me this year, really well, because they'll post up, and then a couple that might have booked that venue but not got their photographer sorted are suddenly introduced into me, and who's taken some pretty pictures at their venue, and you just happen to be the first post for that day on the venues Instagram feed. So that's weirdly worked for me. I didn't even see it as a beneficial thing until I'd done it a couple of times, and then I saw it, and it was nice to see. But a lot of the time I know it's just other photographers that look at my stuff. But thankfully I do workshops, I do things like this retreat, which means that I am relevant to other people in the industry. It's not only couples that I'm trying to appeal to, if that makes sense. But yeah, it is weird. Like, I'm always under the illusion that if you're hovering over something to post and there's something holding you back, that you probably shouldn't be posting it. There'll be a deep, go with your gut feeling. There'll be a deep rooted reason why you're not hitting publish, and it's once it's out there, it's out there, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there is people might say the opposite, Ed. I'll say that.
Oh, what, go against the flow and just wind? Clickbait.
A few TikTok coaches would maybe say the opposite, because kind of like what I was saying about the 360 and how I'm actually not what I thought I was. Your internalization of who you are and what you're putting out there is not actually accurate. To what's outside the world. And the things that hold us back, the things that make us feel unworthy of whatever, that's within us. That's not the outside world.
Yeah.
Some people might actually say, you know what?
That's a good point.
Post it. And if it fails, it fails. And you have knowledge now. You have data.
You had a good career. Move on. you've been cancelled. You've been You're
okay. If you're gonna put out a horrible like a racist post or something, keep that to your fucking self. Absolutely.
You're irrelevant and you've been cancelled. you're like a terrible comedian. Get out. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I only do weddings, but not short people. I don't do weddings of short people. That's it.
I know what you mean though. Going back to that post that I said I put up about not doing behind the scenes, I kind of did hover over that for a bit because I thought this is going to piss off a lot of photographers. So I just reworded the caption before I posted it and said, I'm doing this because I meet up with photographers for coffees and that, and I'm friends with a hell of a lot of photographers. It's a great community. We're very lucky. We have to be, because otherwise it's a lonely freelance job, really. So I was hearing a lot of people feeling the pressure, and a lot younger than me, and they were feeling the pressure just to be seen, and the amount of time they were putting into doing behind the scenes, and they were saying that it was taken away from their enjoyment of the day. So I just made sure in that comment or in the caption that I said, if you can do it, brilliant, hats off to you. But if you can't, just don't beat yourself up over it. Just like, and I think it was because the main picture was I put 80% of my weddings this year have come from word of mouth of me chatting to other guests, not from BTS. That's all I said. And I got a few negative comments, which I just ignored. I got a few DMs from photographers that were just talking out their ass, but I backed myself up by putting that in the caption and saying that if you can do that, brilliant. If you can't, don't beat yourself up. And it was just for the people that were finding it tough. I did that. And I remember doing that and just thinking, well, this is only the stuff that comes out of my mouth when I do workshops. And I try to be honest and tell people that you just got to put yourself out there. But at the same time, you got to look after your mental health, and you got to make sure that on a wedding day you're not you're not burning out on if you're burning out on the wedding day, you're definitely going to burn out when it gets to editing season or later on in the year when your personal relationships are struggling because you're not seeing your partner at all because you're just working all the time, or you're not giving your business your all because you're coming across, God, that person just works all the time. I don't know. I'm not explaining it very well, but it's one of those things where I don't like seeing people struggle over the simple stuff that they don't need to be don't need to be doing. And that's why when I do workshops or when I do this retreat, which I'm really excited about doing, or when I do talks, you kind of just have to, it's really not that complicated. I know I'm saying photography is easier than videography, but the whole job is enjoyable for me because the simplicity of it, we're just taking nice pictures, but at the same time, we don't need to be just like working like dogs just all the time. We just need to look after ourselves.
Yeah, 100%. There's a very valid point, because there's a lot of people who they're grumbling just now because they feel the pressure of, I've got to do this, I've got to keep up.
You haven't got to do any
with
of
content
it.
creators, but you don't.
No, you haven't. You're your boss. The best thing about this job is that you're the boss. You're HR. You're everything. Yes, you're the marketing platform as well, and you're doing the social media, and if you're like me, you're not using AI to take advantage of the benefits of AI. We won't talk about the negatives, but the benefits of AI can help businesses no end, especially if you're feeling the pressure of performance. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Some people are grumbling about it, and you're like, you're making a rod for your own back by saying yes to everything. Just say no to stuff that you see as a bit red flaggy, or you're not going to upset anyone. And there's more than enough work for everyone to go round. There always has been. There always will.
Yeah. Let's talk about weird for a minute then, because you've talked about other photographers and community and stuff.
Yeah.
What was it about the weird retreat that made you say yes and get involved?
Just the fact that it wasn't, it's kind of sounds anti-wedding, but the fact that it wasn't just a solely wedding photographers thing, it really perked my ears up, and I was kind of just, and the fact that the variety of the speakers, and the fact that quite a few of them use film a lot. Admire anyone that can shoot a wedding nowadays 100% film, like people like Kate does. Just like hats off to you. And even Luke, Kate Hampson. So so and the way that Luke, who's organizing the retreat, the way that he shoots film as well. And this is coming from me, who the first 7 years of my career was shot wholly on film. I think it's because I had so many experiences when I was on film where it slowed me down. And when you're a press photographer, the one thing you need to be is speedy. I don't know what it's like nowadays. I guess, well, it's probably more so because you've got to get the pictures out before everyone else, as standard. Whereas when you're on film and you just had to work really fast, you had to bomb it back to the office to get it developed. Whereas with weddings, I still am a very speedy photographer. I'm very responsive. It's why I use the kit that I use. It's why I keep it simple. Whereas if you're shooting a wedding on 100% film, surely film photographers are being honest with the couples and saying it's a lot slower paced, it's a lot more intentional, and but it's going to be not dissing digital. It's a lot more creative, and it's really nice. It's not nice seeing pictures with borders on. I'm that simple. It's just nice seeing the film scans, and yeah. So that was kind of the attraction for me, the film side of it. I also like the fact that it's over a few days. It's not just about doing a presentation, me doing like a 50-minute 1 hour presentation and then walking off and then that being it. I like the kind of like the community vibe that Luke has described to me, and the fact that it's over a few days. I'm going to be staying for the whole duration of it, so I'm not just turning up to do a talk and then walking off. I'm very much an open book, as I'm sure you guys know. So I'm looking forward to like good conversations, just getting to know the attendees, the other speakers, and just kind of creating a community. It's exciting, and the fact that it's the first one of it. Anything whenever it's in its infancy or its first, I love being involved. I went to the first ever Way Up North 10 years ago in Stockholm, and because it was the first one, I've only been to two of them. I went to the first and second one. I just think because they chucked everything at the first one, it was just amazing. It was so good. And the same with Luke. With this one, it's the first one, so I think it's got loads of potential, like going forward into future years.
Yeah, and I mean, we're very much looking forward to it as well. I don't know if we've fully, like, I haven't looked at my calendar yet. I don't know if Greg has looked at his. We're obviously putting on a Q&A section of the day.
Yeah,
but I hope that we're able to stay at least tonight or at least 2 nights, if not the full time, because I like doing work that's not work.
Yeah, it doesn't look. It looks so chilled out, and from everything that I've heard about it, and and again on the Works Christmas drinks for the Nottingham area, Luke was at it last week, and he was just telling me more about the venue, and it just sounds so picturesque and really relaxing. And like I said about the speakers, so Igor is another photographer who I've like looked up to over the last few years. His wedding, his destination work is just amazing. And Luke's just got Ollie Sansom on board as well. So I've seen Ollie talk before, and he's really, really creative, really good at how he gets across his work process, his thought process, just his whole creativity. And like I said, and the other speakers as well, everyone's bringing something very different. And I suppose what I would be bringing is just like how I keep staying inspired after all these years. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've not done anything like it, and I didn't even have to think twice when I got asked to do it. So that's always a good sign.
Yeah. Would you describe your style or your creative process as weird in any way? Obviously, different spelling, weird, but I don't know if it means the same. But
I used to. One of my taglines used to be different. Like I think it was honest, creative, raw, and different. I used to have as my strapline, and I don't think. Again, doing myself a massive disservice here. I don't think I do anything different to a lot of photographers now. But at the same time, when you get bookings, and it's the couples that count. And if a couple, I've had quite a few couples this year that have said, "Oh, you were the first one that we wanted to book." But then we talked to 3 or 4 other photographers, and we just kept coming back to you. And at the same time, back in the day, I would have taken huge offense to that. I'd have been like, why wasn't I good enough? Why didn't you just book me straight away? But now it's, you kind of, as you get a bit older, and you kind of just, well, everyone shops around, and something of mine was pulling you back. So that obviously means I'm still relevant and still doing something different that is making people come back and book you. And I think it's only when, if God forbid it ever happens, but the years will come and I won't have any bookings into the next year, will I be massively worried? I mean, I've got 10 bookings for next year, and we're in the first week of December now. If that had been like 4 or 5 years ago when I was a lot cheaper, I would be bricking it. But because my target is only 15 every year, I know that those 5 will trickle in. It's like I shot my last wedding of this year, was it 4 weeks ago, and then since then I've taken on 2 more bookings for this year. So one I shot last week, and then one I've got the week before Christmas. So it's I honestly believe that we're going into the next phase with the next generation of it being the years of the late bookers, and
I agree.
I'm here for that. Yeah.
I mean, people in the video space I feel like they're used to it. Because we're always the last thing.
We've got some money left. We'll get a videographer. How annoying is that to hear, though? I hear it, though, because some of my couples say, oh, we've just been given X amount of money. Can you recommend a videographer? And then you're just like, well, how much money is it? And then they tell you, like, bloody hell, that's generous. And then I know what videographers to recommend to them because they've given me a price in mind. And then again, that's another stage where I'm jealous of you guys and videographers, because I'm like, I would love to be getting last minute bookings, because you can then also, from a business side of things, you can quote accordingly, can't you, as to the geography of where the wedding is, whether you need to bump up the business account that month, or if it's like my one the other week was just like, oh, we're getting married in 10 days. It's very different to a few years ago, where it's just like, we're getting married in 2 years. We've heard that we have to get a photographer sorted, and like, I haven't even got a calendar for 2 years. So yes, I'm available. Yeah. And everyone's personal circumstances are different as well. If you've suddenly decided that, right, I'm just having the rest of the year off to spend with my family and just to decompress, get over a manic year because I've burnt out, that's fair enough as well. Whereas with 15, I don't hit burnout anymore. I love it. I love having time off. I've never shied away from that since I've been fortunate enough to have time off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And if people are sitting there thinking, oh, how much does Ed charge? How is he able to do 15? Listen to the last episode of the Perspective podcast, because I'm pretty sure we get onto that.
Yeah, we do. And it's still the same. Yeah.
Still the same. Yeah. Should we go on to... In fact, no. You know what? Before we move on, Ed, what's your talk going to be about when people come to Weird? Like, what are they going to be getting?
It's mainly going to be about longevity and how I've stayed, not just in the industry, but in the not just in the wedding industry, but also in the photography industry as well. Because what I like about the retreat, of it bringing together so many different types of photographers, there isn't a press or sports photographer, not that I know of anyway, that's been that is one of the speakers. So I'm not going to be concentrating on press or sports, but I'm going to talk about what I've taken away from my years of doing that. Because in my head, being the age I am now, those 10 years never happened. Whereas when I look back at my portfolio, which is tangible printed portfolio, those 10 years really structures how I shoot now, how I treat people at weddings, how I treat clients, how I edit as well. And just it's very, very similar to how I shot and worked as a press photographer. I think I know a lot of press photographers go into wedding photography, but some change their styles, whereas I don't think my style's ever changed. And the way that I deal with people, the way that I don't walk in and immediately put a camera up and shove it in someone's face to provoke a reaction. It's a gentler approach. Even if it's a wild party, I'd be like, I want people to see my face. I want to have an interaction. I want there to be a connection. And if the connection's not there at the beginning, it's hard to get it back later on in the day with a wedding. So my talk's initially going to be about how I've used those years as a press photographer going into shooting weddings, and also how I just stay inspired now, because I'll be honest, just before COVID, around 2018, 2019, I thought that my problem with like being uninspired was due to my price and me constantly thinking, oh, I don't make enough, or I'm always burnt out. Well, I was always burnt out because I wasn't charging enough, and therefore I was working too much. It just took a few clients. They happened to be affluent couples that had booked me to shoot their weddings in Italy that said, oh, we would have paid double for what you charged. And then the cogs start turning. You're like, well, why aren't I charging that? The only thing that's stopping me from doing it is changing a few numbers, putting an extra zero on the prices page, and having the confidence in my ability and knowing that you're worth that. And it just got to the point where realized I was worth it. And then that work came in. So I'm not going to be talking about business side of things, sorry, or massively talking about money, just because I find, despite even us doing it now, I cringe when I talk about money on a Zoom call. As soon as we start talking about the price, I'm instantly like, oh God, just like, get me out of here. It's just like this. It's on the website. And if it's not on the website for any reason, I sent you the pricing page before we did it. I think that's why I like the way that Luke has described the retreat. It's not like a conference, and that's not dissing wedding photography conferences. I still go on them yearly. I still educate myself after all these years. I went to Thrive in Brighton a couple of months ago. Loved that. And so, and again, at Thrive, a lot of it wasn't about business. So that was gorgeous to hear, just not like it being about the art, and I'm soaking stuff in from that, but at the same time I'm not all about the business. Yeah.
Aye, your audio's not working. Nudge your cables a wee bit, something's went wrong.
It's probably because I was talking too much there. We just lost all the audio from you.
Here?
There you go, I think you're back. Yep.
Yeah.
Is it my cable? 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Just
hello.
Don't touch it.
Well, how
Stand like this for the rest of the podcast.
There we go. Get some masking tape out.
I mean, Ed, have you noticed my audio going?
Only just then, and a couple of minutes ago it did, but it only cut out for like a few seconds.
Yeah. Okay, well, put your hands up if you can't hear me. Anyway, since we're going to be talking about the art, let's move on to that right now. Show and tell. Now, we don't have the TV anymore, so we have to screen share. Greg's got it all worked out, right, Greg?
It'll hopefully work.
Fully.
So
this is where, I don't know if you remember it, but this is where I picked a few of your images to have a look at and hear the backstory.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why.
Then I have to hope that they're my ones. I did just quickly. I did a similar thing to this with a camera club on a Zoom conference, and they nicked like 8 pictures off of my slideshow, or they took screen grabs off my slideshow, and it was from a year when I had a second shooter. 2 of the pictures were the second shooters.
To be fair, I think we have done that as well. Yeah. So
these are definitely mine though, because
yes. Well, you sent them over to us.
Exactly.
So I was able to select ones from your very large collection of images.
Yeah. No squeaky bum time at all now.
Yeah. And I'm glad you sent me these new ones and I'm also glad that you updated your images because I could see some of the other ones that I chose from the previous episode, so it was nice to. Have we lost Greg? Yeah. Greg, you there?
On my screen. I'm sure on my screen. So.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so the wash and dry image, I actually really like this one because it's so casual and just to me it just is a street photography image. It's not like a wedding image to me. And I love the fact that it's not exactly the same color, but the blue of the wash kind of tonally fits with that side, and the reds in the dry kind of because the bride's got more skin showing.
Yeah,
kind of balance the image quite nice.
Yeah, this is my kind of portrait. Just they've got a cigarette in their hands. They've got a glass of champagne each. Directly opposite the pub that they had the reception in as well, so that they were looking at that all day. Every time they went out for a cigarette, all the guests could see it. I've got my back to the Lordship pub, which is in Dulwich, and I just that from the other side of the road. And yeah, it's just my kind of environmental portrait, just like lots of space to breathe. It's not your safe portrait, is it, where you just go behind and just hug and then just look like you like each other? It's literally just go over there and have a chat. And again, going back to my saying about how us photographers just we're all guilty of it, just overcomplicating so much of the day, whereas my favorite images and where I think I do best is when I just make a couple feel relaxed, be themselves, and then you capture something really special, and that's just them being themselves.
So did you saw this and you just said, guys, go over there? And
yeah, I like anything that looks a bit like Americana, kind of just kind of movie-ish, kind of like you said, the colors complemented with his suit as well, and just they're not having to be, couples don't have to be all over each other to show that they're in love and show that it's their wedding day. They can just be having a chat. That's what most people in love do. They just have a chat on their wedding day. They just have a fag and they just have a drink, and they're just themselves. And it kind of annoys me when some people like having a cigarette at a wedding. They're like, oh no, don't take a picture. And I'm just like,
yeah.
But it's you, isn't it? If I don't capture it, so you're just gonna go look at me and say cheese? It's like, no, just I wanted you to be yourself, and that moment's passed now. So it's just. And when I shot that, I remember I had to go upright because it was quite messy on the right, because that's just a main road, and then on the left there were just bins and that. And because I'm lazy, I just thought that'll make a lovely portrait. That'll look good on Instagram. That goes through my mind so much on a wedding day. It's just like, that'll look good on Instagram. And then if it's old-fashioned documentary, I'll go landscape, and then just think, but when it's an actual portrait, I will go into portrait mode like that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yes, nice image.
Just I like the space around it.
Yeah. It's also, I think when people tend to, like, it's either like the couple are together and they're like being all nice, or it's the whole, right, stand next to each other, Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Like, pretend you don't even know you exist next to this person. You're just standing there.
Look like you hate each other.
Pose. I'm like, it's nice that it's kind of like not that either.
Yeah, I still do that, but I'm all about the variety. And when you hand over the gallery as well, you've got your favorites, and it's always interesting to see when people have favorited their photos on the gallery. And I'm like, whoa, they favorited that. I nearly didn't even put that in. So you got to remember what's in our mind isn't what's in the client's head. So it's about giving them variety.
Yeah. Next image, Greg.
Yeah. Again, so this is a prime example of me saying, if I think it's the purest documentary shot, I'll go landscape.
But
so this is just waiting for the person that's got the confetti to come out. So I will be all over this instead of the confetti shot every day of the week. This is when the good stuff happens, the in-between moments. Confetti shots are great, but confetti shots are to be expected, and they're the usual, whereas this is like my kind of I could have shot that and walked off and be like, we don't need the confetti. but we'll do the safe shot, which is the confetti.
I'm
going on here.
I'm assuming that, the kids at the front, they're brother and sister. Or that's the type of relationship.
I think they were, or cousins, but they would.
But
and then the two guys behind, they had just got married, and I think they would just shout. I think he was shouted back, "Who has got the confetti?" And that's outside Hackney Town Hall. So if you've ever shot there, you know that another couple are coming, and the bloke there with the broom ready to clean up the confetti is like, they're going, Ed, come! You're kind of running out of time here, and stuff like that. I'm not there to shout. I love chaos because it entices better pictures to happen. So as long as it's not ruining a couple's wedding day, you just let the chaos flow, don't you?
Yeah. Plus, I love that girl's face. Like, there is effort in that squish.
Yeah, fighting. Yeah,
you could really.
She's biting her lip. Yeah, that was just everything, and and the lad's grimace as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really nice image. I love moments like this, and I feel, like when we used to do films that are like 15 to 20 minutes, like I could fit a moment like that into a film.
Yeah.
But now that we do shorter films now, moments like this just get missed a lot.
Really?
I find it really hard to balance all the like key moments that I feel like need to take priority.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's an old way of thinking that maybe.
Do you mean they get missed? Do you mean they get missed in the edits or missed at shooting stage or?
But no, I shoot it 100%. But
you won't include it because it's not like what's expected.
Because I've only got 6 to 10 minutes to tell a story.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot of time, believe it or not. So especially like if I like to linger on shots to build anticipation.
Yeah.
If I'm doing that, then I do lose the ability to have these moments like this.
Yeah.
But
it's when it's a humor as well, I suppose if you're injecting a blast of humor onto a video that's the rest of it's about romance and about quite magical and love, the humor can make it quite jarring, can't it? Whereas
I mean, so our films like I think that's where social media is kind of bad, because what people would see in our things is like kind of a one-tone film. It's only 1 to 2 minutes.
The drama,
but our films are actually quite like they're fairly complex. I will go for a very happy high moment to a somber moment to a funny moment to like, so there is that. So there is room for me to potentially do it. I just feel like I don't have a lot of time unless I'm just going to give the couple like a 12 or 13 minute film.
Yeah.
But, because you just need to tonally balance everything.
Yeah.
So if I've got
photos
those,
are easier.
Well, in terms of that, like putting them in a gallery, because I could sit and look at a photograph for like 10 minutes and be like, great, but in a film it would be like 1 or 2 seconds. So
I love it when lots is going on in the frame, and
Next image, Greg. Next image, Gregory. All right. So again, I feel like there's definitely a vibe of just like, so this thing's happening, so I'll capture it.
It's funny you've chosen this. This was the same wedding as what was just shot.
Right.
So this is from the viewpoint of what those people were looking out on. So this is from inside Hackney Town Hall looking out.
Okay.
And that was one of the guests just turning up, and this person, this homeless person that was just in the background, but on the grass, he just saw there was a wedding happening, and he just decided to come and lie down, and nobody from Hackney Town Hall could move him. So
that's
again,
hilarious.
this is kind of what I will be talking about on the retreat, and whether it's in like my talk or just when I'm talking to people in general over like a beer in the evening, I will be talking about how I've taken elements of the years as a press photographer into my wedding day. Because if I was just no shade over people that have only ever been a wedding photographer, but a primarily wedding photographer might not have taken that shot because they might just think, oh, the couple aren't going to want this, and they're not going to want a complete random stranger that's come in to not ruin the day, but he's just being himself. Whereas I loved it. I was just like, not only that, he's got such a cool vest on, and his hand was just like that, and the fact that the town hall weren't moving him on. So I took shots of no end of the guests arriving, and I could have just chosen to crop in on her. Because her as an individual, that would have made a lovely portrait with her leather jacket hanging off. She's got a gorgeous dress on. She's got lovely expression on her face, but it's just made more of an interesting shot for me, shot on the 20mm, to have him in it and her walking. It's kind of, it's so difficult to describe, because again, it goes back to what should you and shouldn't you shoot at a wedding. But if the couple really don't want that, they can crop in on her. But I personally, I'm quite selfish sometimes. I shoot a wedding for me initially, and then the couples are an afterthought. The couples like the photos because I only put out on my website stuff I like. So if a couple don't like their photos, you're doing something wrong on your website if a couple have booked you and they end up not liking their photos. And touch wood, I've just never had that happen where a couple have been like, wow, why did we get photos looking like this? And you're like, yeah, it's because that's what I shoot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you, when you take an image like that, does any thought go towards the zeitgeist at the moment, like the political state of the country at the moment? I mean, when I saw this image, okay, yes, I saw the humor, and I would imagine you just took it because of that. But in actual fact, like, you're looking at someone quite smartly dressed and happy.
Yeah, the deeper side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like the person on the floor wearing a Union Jack. You know, I mean,
I know.
You could look deeper into that image. So.
There is, and again, it just comes back to my press photography days where we would just always instill that shoot first, ask questions later, and I kind of still work like that, but at the same time, I don't want to be hurting anyone, hurting anyone's feelings. Now, if that gentleman had been facing me, I wouldn't have taken the photo. There's no way I'd have even lifted the camera up if he was looking at, and it was Union Jack on the front as well, so it would have been a completely different photo had his face been on show, because I'm exposing somebody that's got nothing to do with the wedding, that's just going about their daily business. Their daily business just happens to be a part of the wedding that I'm photographing. But yeah, if that guy had been spun around, I wouldn't have taken the picture. I just wouldn't have, because and even if I do with passers by, I did a wedding in the summer, and there was like some kids, young kids went by on their scooters. And I slowed the shutter speed down to try and get them blurred, but one of them had stopped, so that girl was recognizable in it, and the couple that got married were just sat enjoying a drink outside this pizzeria place, and I knew as soon as I took it, this is going to make a really dramatic black and white shot, but I knew that she was perfectly sharp. So I went over and said to the mum, I said, "Oh, is that all right that I just took the picture?" And then she said, "Picture of what?" They didn't even notice I had taken one. And then I just flipped the camera out and I said, "Oh, the girl, is that your daughter?" And she was just like, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh yeah, she's perfectly sharp." And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's fine, yeah." And then she just looked at the couple and went, "Oh, congratulations." So it's just about being a nice human being and not taking the piss. It's like just common sense, but sadly some people haven't got that.
Yeah, no,
I mean, the
like,
fact that you said this guy came over to lie there on purpose,
he wasn't
way, means that he's not willingly being part of the day, but
no, he was
part of their story now. So
he was wanting to be disruptive.
Yeah,
and I got that because that's what the security team told me. That's why when I said, "Oh, there's a guy out the front," I wasn't getting him moved on, but they just said, "Yeah, he does this occasionally from time to time. He doesn't cause any harm, but they are going to have to walk around him." So
I mean, I know there's going to be a certain group of people who go, "Well, it's a public space," although maybe it's, I don't know if the venue own that space outside, but they'll probably say it's free reign. You're allowed to take his photographs legally, but if this gentleman is homeless, then that's not really fair to just look at the law and be like, well, I'm allowed to take his photograph, because he doesn't have any access to privacy. So don't be a dick.
No, and again, that's why if he had been turned over, also I wouldn't have wanted the confront, not just from a moral stance, but also I wouldn't have wanted confrontation with a complete stranger on somebody's wedding day, because I don't like confrontation, and I don't, especially on a wedding day.
Yeah. Greg, do we have another image? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know the story of this. Like, first of all, well done for capturing this, because knowing me, if something was to explode in front of me, I'd be like, ah! I wouldn't know what to do, but you grabbed the image, perfectly timed, perfectly in focus. What happened here? What's going on?
It's the magician that you can't see his face behind. So he just came up to me before they sat down for dinner, and he just said, "I will be doing this trick where I give them a bottle of champagne," and he was just like, "It's an exploding bottle of champagne." I was like, So I was like, okay. And he said, but you need to be on the ball to get it. And I said, okay. So I ramped up the frames per second as much as the A7 IV would go. And I was just like watching them all the time. And I thought, well, I'm going to give away the fact that something big's going to happen in a minute. So I won't photograph your other magic tricks leading up to that. So I'm there with a 35mm on, and he literally just looked at me like that. He opened his eyes, so I thought it's going to go any minute. And he presses a button, and then something within it like pops the cork.
Yeah.
So I got like a nice set of about 8 or 9 images where their expressions were completely different, and I just quite like it because it was the one with the biggest amount of fizz. The shooting, but anyone that sees this and you book me, don't think that I can take good champagne chance because
he was prepped for this, ladies and gentlemen. He was prepped.
I was prepped for it. I knew that the champagne was going to look good, whereas I've seen some editorial photographers that do all these champagne photos, and I look at them and I'm just like, a lot can go wrong with that, and that doesn't fit my. Do it by all means, but don't tell me you're going to do it. Just do it, and I'll capture it. It's like the smoke bombs, isn't it? As soon as anyone says to me they got smoke bombs, what do you want us to do? And I'm just like, well, you've caught that up by telling me you've got them. Just do it, and I would have taken cool photos. But now you've instilled that part of me that has to become a director. That's when my work suffers, and it won't be authentic, and it will just be staged, and it will look formulaic. So
yeah, I suppose the trouble is, I mean, who just casually rips off a smoke bomb?
Exactly.
Well,
I'd love that.
Fair play.
Maybe we should just start introducing that. Just like open one, hand it to a guest, and run away.
Yeah.
My God. I don't. But then you would still be responsible because you gave it to them, and you would have no control. Like if they went into the toilet or whatever, just let it off, you'd be like, "Fuck."
Yeah, it'd be like a Champions League game at Ajax or something when you see all the fireworks going off and the game's abandoned. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. I think that was the last one, wasn't it, Greg?
It was. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of Show and Tell, and it brings us to the end of the podcast. Although I noticed, Greg, I haven't put in any book recommendation questions in here. So, Ed,
you can ask it now. On you go.
Do you have any book recommendations for our listeners?
I think I've been a good boy since the last time we spoke, and I've not been going mental.
And good boys don't read.
No, but as in not spending all my money on photography books. Yeah, no, because beforehand, I don't know if I think I just bought the Greg Williams book, hadn't I? And I told you guys about that, so I definitely recommend that again. I still pick that up from time to time, and I look at it. And yesterday I was in Waterstones and I saw the new Lee Miller book. So that was really good. Yes, I don't know if you saw the Kate Winslet film where she played Lee Miller. It came out earlier this year. It was really good.
I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I've not watched it, but I remember Lisa Devlin talking about it at one point.
Did she? Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, the film's just called Lee, and Lee Miller's book that's just come out. I think the foreword's by Kate Winslet in it, and it's a really, really good book. I had a good look through that yesterday. But yeah, I'm trying not to spend as much money on photography as much as I do, especially now the new Sony's camera has just come out yesterday, hasn't it? So,
yes, that's right. The A7 V, is that right?
Yeah, I don't know whether I know I don't need it, but I know I want it. Yeah.
Yes, that's very true.
Is there any like retreats that people should spend their money on instead of books?
Oh yeah, there's a banging retreat that I'm going to be talking at. Yeah, you should definitely go on that. Like link below.
Yeah.
But definitely go on to that. Yeah, Luke's working really hard to make a fantastic retreat. I'm really looking forward to meeting the attendees and, like I said, the speakers that are on that. And also, if you've not bought a ticket yet, it's just going to be one of those ones where it's great that our speakers are going to be around in the evenings and just like in between the talks to just question us, ask us why we do things, why don't we do things, and I'm just looking forward to it being a really relaxed, and it's not an insane amount of people either. I'm not sure how many number. I know it's quite limited, and I
believe it's 15 or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, I'm doing a workshop next March. And I've just limited that to 5 just because I did one earlier this year and that was just 5. And it's so nice when some people don't go on conferences because the thought of being in a room like over 100 other photographers just scares the hell out of them. And I've got to admit, when I go to conferences, sometimes it's a bit intimidating. Like there's a lot of people here. So I just like it being more intimate and you just feeling like it's more of discussions than being spoken to or being taught like you're at school. So just looking forward to the community feel to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you are coming or you're thinking about coming, book your tickets for sure. And I mean, I know Ed's not going to be talking about price for his talk, but that's only because he wants to spend the rest of the time there talking about price, money, booking
every
tax,
he opens just
we're going to open up his books.
Wine you buy me.
So get your questions about money ready for Ed.
Yeah. Every drink that is handed to me, I will take a question about money and
one question per drink. That's what you get, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly, yeah. And then buy about 2 bottles of wine, you'll get the truth, yeah.
Oh my God. That's awesome. Well, Ed, thank you very much for joining us again on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Where can people find you online?
My website, so www.edgodden.co.uk, and Instagram is just at Ed Godden. And that's it. My TikTok's there, but it's very dormant.
Oh, now I'm going to go and have a look and just see.
Have a laugh.
Yeah, people can find us at perspectivebycinemate.com, our Instagram at perspectivebycinemate. You can also go to our Cinemate Instagram account, as well as our elopements for the feral, which is our photography elopement stuff. If you wanted to check it out, you don't have to though. It's fine. Although, if you want to see me getting smashed in the face a million times with a camera, thank you, Mark Pecura. It's there. And yeah, get ready for weird. Book your tickets. It is a 3-day creative retreat built for photographers, artists, makers who just kind of want a space to breathe, room to think. I believe that's how Luke worded it anyway, I think. It's on the 23rd to the 26th of March, 2026 at the Arc Peaks in the heart of the Peak District. So it should be really beautiful. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to go. We'll be there for our Q&A. I know With Jack is going to be sponsoring. So Ashley will be there, perhaps. We're trying to encourage her to come down. And yeah, if you have liked this conversation, hit subscribe on our YouTube at youtube.com/@perspectivebycinemate or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you in the next episode. However,
in the meantime,
stay weird and enjoy your life. Was it that long ago? Okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. It was a couple of days after I'd had a colonoscopy.
Oh my, I don't remember that on the podcast.
That's because I didn't tell you. That's because I didn't say, oh yeah, by the way, boys, I've just had a camera up my bum.
Well, I mean, just so you know, that was fully recorded. So, anyway.
That's a social media clip right there.